And here we go. Okay, cool. And I think that the stream is actually running this time. So let's go ahead and stream. There we go. Boom, boom, and go to here. Alright, let's go ahead and get this started. Muting my Facebook notifications. So it's a late night stream. That's definitely a thing. Alright. May have put too many layers. Alright. What I want to do for the line art. Maybe like pastelish green. I think I might actually have to just kind of do black lines for the line art on this. Fun time. Not working out. There we go. this isn't going to be my usual art stream, but a bit of inspiration. And I know it's a little bit early for the spook season for some people, but I am a big fan of spooky time. So we're gonna do the spooky. Mother flip flap. Legs on a horse have to be super hard, don't they? That doesn't look right either. There we go. Should try to extend a leg, maybe. Maybe. Nope. Hello. I am sort of getting spooky with this. I'm currently just kind of coloring in the line work, but I had an idea that was a bit more obscure from the normal carousel horse. So I'm doing that. Yeah, I'm just kind of trying to get it all blended in. And then I've got to add a bit of purple into the tail. But I don't do a lot of spooky art outside of Halloween, and I normally do a lot of kawaii stuff or stickers for Telegram, but I figured why not get spooky early? Why not? Like just give in. Just give in to the spooky season. Why not? And here we are. But people liked when I did my Halloween Pokemon fan art stream during Halloween, so I figure I'll do a bit of art outside of Halloween, kind of just because I can. It is so fluffy, yeah. And I know that on TikTok I'm not usually known for my Halloween art or my creepy art, but I didn't exactly give up on that phase that I had in high school where I drew really, really creepy or obscure things. I still do that. I just don't exactly advertise it everywhere. It's not the popular art. And people, when they see what I do, are not going to assume that I do creepy art. Because they're like, oh, you do kawaii stuff. And I'm like, yes, just kawaii stuff. Totally doesn't have a horde of skulls up on a shelf. I've done some Kraken art before. I don't know if I did it on stream or not, but I have done Kraken art. I may need to commission you for a new panda logo. I could do that. I do commissions from time to time, and I do art-related stuff as well. I just don't get a lot of digital art commissions or traditional art commissions a lot of the time. People just kind of like to watch what I do and not really commission. Got that. Ooh, idea. It's gonna be a bit spooky. Gonna... Oh, this is a little bit out there. I know that this isn't gonna be everyone's favorite part of the day, but... Here we go. It, dripping off. Yeah, dripping off. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and add in a bit of more of that. a little bit. Oh, thanks. I feel like it gives off very androgynous vibes, and I'm just like, I could go for this. This is fine. But I ended up cutting it, because it's more of a cultural thing for a lot of my family. I have a lot of indigenous and Latino parts of my family, and hair is kind of one of those things that we grow out for a while and don't really cut unless there's like a tragedy or you're offering it as like part of yourself during a matrimony thing. But for me, it was to sympathize with the tribes that are being mistreated right now and show that they have my thoughts and know that they will not be silenced by how the government is right now, and their rights will not be taken away, that they are stronger than they think. And I returned that part of myself through fire to the earth so that it could be given back to them. But I'm weird and I grew up with a lot of different cultural traditions, so let's see. There we go. I think that is a creepy ass thing. Yeah, I was raised to speak both English and Spanish, and my accent comes out really heavily when I speak Spanish for a while. Growing up, whenever I would visit my aunt, the aunt who cut my hair today, my tia, when I go visit her when I was younger, cuando una poquito niña, sorry, cuando una poquito niña visitaron mi tía hablan solamente español cuando coño, solamente español, no inglés, solamente español. So whenever I would go back to speak English, my accent comes out, and it's like, people are like, oh shit, you do not speak English. And I'm like, I mean, I speak both English and Spanish, but it's okay. I'm hoping it did not. Yeah, so like, it takes me a bit to get back to English, but I do speak English and Spanish and was raised speaking mostly just Spanish with my aunt when I'm with her, and English with, um, most of the other part of my families. I do have family from Canada, and I also have family from Mexico, and a lot of my family is rooted in like Native American. My grandpa, he was part Portuguese and African American, and so like I have sun allergies, but if I'm out in the sun for a really long time, I do burn and then I get tan. But I used to get really tan as a kid, and people used to mistake me for my tia's daughter. So I would just be like, okay. And a lot of her friends would just be like, I see, you have the little white Mexican girl with you this time. And I would just be there learning Spanish, and I would just be like, little white Mexican girl. Okay, but like this is translation, so it's like little white Mexican girl, so una blanca niña, and um, una blanca mexicana niña. So a very small white Mexican girl, and I would, at the time I was like, okay, this is an okay thing. It's a joke. They mean it jokingly. And then whenever I got older, I'm like, holy shit, they were racist. but it's something I did grow up with, and it always surprises a lot of people whenever I speak Spanish, because like when I speak Spanish and I'm around people at the store and stuff, they don't assume that I speak Spanish, so they start having a conversation, and then I join in a conversation and I speak Spanish, and they're like, "Wait, you speak Spanish? Why you speak Spanish so good?" And I'm like, "I have family from Mexico. What do you want? Like, I speak Spanish. This is part of my language." And they're just like, "Holy shit, they found us!" But it's it's kind of frustrating in a way, because there have been some times where I'm at like the store, and there are employees that look Hispanic but don't speak Spanish, and the people who speak Spanish that come into the store looking for people who speak Spanish, they start talking to the employees assuming they speak Spanish. And the employees are like, "Okay, look, my family maybe speaks Spanish, but I know no Spanish whatsoever. I don't know how to help you. I don't understand what you are saying. I only speak English." And so I will pop in and be like, ¿tú necesitas ayuda de español? And they're like, "Sí, sí, sí, ¿tú hablas español?" And I'm like, "Yes, sí, sí, yo hablo español." They're like, "Oh, sí, gracias, gracias, gracias. ¿Tú hablas español? ¿Cuánto está?" And they'll be asking like where things are and things, and they're like, "But you trabajo aquí?" And I'm like, "I don't work here. No, no, no. I just come here and pick up art supplies. I don't come. I don't work here. I pick up art supplies." They're like, "You do art?" I'm like, Yes, I do a lot of art." But yeah, like it's what I get from a lot of people in public is there's a lot of people who speak Spanish, and I run into a lot of people who speak Spanish, so I get to practice my Spanish a lot more than I used to. And whenever I am speaking Spanish with people, like at the supermercado down the road, there's a little Latino market where people can have fresh carne, pescado, frutas y vegetales, and like lots of things there that are like really good prices and stuff. And like people are always surprised because I will carry on a full blown conversation in Spanish, and there's a person that works there, and he speaks like very little English, and he's like, "Oh, perdón, perdón, espera, espera, ¿tú hablas español?" And I'm like, "Sí, yo hablo español, este no problema, hablo español cuando yo, ¿dónde está esta, le estoy ya una fruta, está, cuánto cuestan?" And like I'd be having a conversation with them, and um the guy, he is surprised because like he's like, "Oh, thank God you speak Spanish." And I'm like, Yes, I speak Spanish." It's just like I speak English and Spanish, and then whenever I have like a 30-minute conversation or longer in Spanish, or even just like a fraction of conversation in Spanish, my accent comes out and people are like, "Oh shit, I thought you were white." And I'm like, surprise. It's always funny, the reactions I get from people, because they're just like, "I thought you were white because you're just so pale and you speak English and we can't tell where your accent's from, and you're just so mellow in accent." And I'm like, "You get me speaks in Spanish for a little bit and then you won't know exactly where I'm from." Sort of, kind of. But it's he surprises people, and I'm always amused by it. But like it's also kind of like not really frustrating, but um people who like when I'm on the transit taking public transit to places, one of the drivers I constantly get is a Latino guy, and his his um his thing is he speaks in Spanish to me a lot, and I'm like carrying on conversation with him, and he's like, "Well, why don't you visit your family in Mexico? Like, I'm sure your grandma in Mexico would be glad to see you. Like, if I were you, I would go and visit Mexico every chance I got. Mexico is beautiful." And I'm like, Yes, that sounds like a good idea. However, travel is dangerous right now, and I could get people sick without trying, and I don't want to do that, or I could get sick. And also, I've never traveled outside the country in my life, and I don't have a passport, so it's kind of difficult. He's like, "Oh, well, you need to try. You need to try to visit your grandma in Acapulco." And I'm like, "Yeah, except for I never have talked to her, and she would probably think I'm some weird white girl that speaks Spanish." But yeah, like people is I guess it's an amusing part of my day whenever I go into like public events or public places and people are like, "Holy shit, you speak Spanish." And I'm like, "Yes." This surprises everyone every time. It's like, why you surprise you? They're like, "Cause your look so white." It's it's different because I grew up with family who were a lot of mixed skin tones because just a lot of backgrounds, and so Spanish was is normal for people of like a lighter color to speak Spanish as well, because you've also got the Portuguese part of our family, which Portuguese is similar to Spanish, but it's also kind of hard to understand at times. But like, I don't mind it. It's just a little harder for me to detect what they are saying, but it's um it's kind of, I don't know if I were to be frustrating, but there are sometimes I know the words in Spanish, but I don't know the words in English. Or there are times I know the word in English, but I don't know the word in Spanish, because I have trouble with words sometimes, not just because of a language barrier, but I was taught both English and Spanish at the same time when I first learned to talk, and that was after about 5 years of being nonverbal and learning sign language. So I know sign language, and I know I'm still a little rusty on my sign language because I don't use it as often as I used to. But mostly my main three languages are sign language, Spanish, and English. And then I do know a little bit of German, a little bit of Japanese, a little bit of Italian. I can sometimes understand the French a little bit, but not very much. But I have learned, yeah, sign language was one of my first languages because I was nonverbal for till I was 5.5 years old, because um, my mom didn't want to get me diagnosed with autism or anything neurodivergent at a young age. She wanted me to function normally and be a normal kid and wouldn't accept that I was not where other kids were. And she thought it was delay because of the head surgeries I have had when I was 4 days old and 2 years old. So yeah, I was basically forced and undiagnosed autism and ADHD for a majority of my life, and I got bullied a lot for it growing up. And I was just expected to function normally and be neurotypical like everyone else, but I couldn't. I had different ways I understood things. I had things that made me stand out from normal kids, and it was frustrating because I was trying to fit in as best as I could, and I didn't understand how kids were supposed to act. I did not understand what normal social communication was. I didn't understand how to socialize. I didn't pick up on jokes. I took everything literally. I still take everything literally. Like when someone says, "Well, why don't you just go play out in the street or something?" I'm like, "All right, see ya, bye." So I go and I would take it very literally as a kid. Whenever my mom would joke around and say, "Ah, you're so annoying, go play in the street or something," I'd be like opening the door, heading down the road to the street, and she's like, "Hey, where you going?" I'm like, "You told me to go play in the street, so I'm playing in the street." She's like, Not literally. You cannot take everything literally. I'm like, sorry, that is how my brain works. So, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, sign language I'm still a little rusty on, but sign language is one of my primary languages. And it's understandable. But I appreciate you joining the stream. I just, I'm a bit random. And you're welcome to follow if you'd like to give like notifications for you in the future if I'm streaming. But yeah, I stream art sometimes and try to have conversations with people whenever I am streaming. They can be a little random, but it's just how it is. Oh, I need to watch and join in. Nice. That's fair. But yeah, it's always surprising to people when they find out that I speak more than one English, and then the people that visit from other countries, when I can sort of communicate with them when they're visiting like the art events and stuff, or when we had people visiting from Italy when I worked in high school at a Tex-Mex place and I spoke Spanish. I had these there were these nuns that came in from Italy that were visiting with the Pope, I think. They were visiting the Catholic Church, and nobody at the restaurant knew any sort of like Latin based language or anything, didn't know how to like communicate to these nuns. And I'm over here like, perdón, perdón, señoras, lo siento, no hablo Italia, pero español, está bien un español? And they're like, oh, sí, 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 uno poquito español. And then they'd speak like the Spain Spanish, and I'd be like, okay, okay, we are good. No language barrier, we're good. And my coworkers, they'd be surprised, like, how do you know how to communicate with these people? They're not even from America, man. Like, how you communicate with them? And I'm like, it is easy if you know basic Latin languages. It's easy if you try to actually try to communicate with people and understand them, and you actually are able to help them. Because apparently learning more than one language is too much for people, and people don't want to learn the languages. But it's like, oh yes, let me just write this down in a language you'll understand, right? But um on the subject of like people here that speak Spanish and like them running into the store or something, one of the local stores I go to down the road on my bike to get art supplies has currently been closed for 2 months. And I've been like biking up there every now and then to see if they finally open back up. They're not open, and there will be people that see me parked there on my bike checking the door and trying to see if they're still open or not. And they'll try to enter through the door, and the door is like locked and closed, and I'm like, no, 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 lo siento, está cerrado como temporalmente. They're like, temporalmente cerrado? Es verdad, cerrado? And I'm like, yes. They're like, ¿qué es tu problema? No sé, lo siento. They're like, I wrote down, like, I got really frustrated that a lot of the stores here do not translate their signs to Spanish because we have a large Hispanic population here in Northwest Arkansas, and basic stores just do not want to translate their signs to where other people can actually read them in a different language because, oh no, this is America, you have to speak English. And it's like, last time I checked, historically America is a melting pot of different cultures, different languages, and there's the first language here was not English, but okay. Like, it's frustrating because I took a sign that they had up on the door, on like a paper sign, and I wrote on it in English, not English. I wrote on it in Spanish, and like it helped a lot of the other customers that normally come in there that are regulars, because English is not one of the main languages spoken by a lot of people here. And a lot of people get very frustrated that there's communication issues with like customers and people that come in, and it's frustrating because I wish more people knew more than just one language and didn't get so frustrated with other people who didn't speak basic English. Because if you go to other countries, like people who fantasize about visiting another country like France, or like visiting Egypt, or how the hell would you want to visit the desert, but or people that want to visit like India or Japan and stuff like that, they're like, oh, we'll just find a translator, we'll just find someone that can translate to English for us and it'll be fine. Well, translators are harder to come by than you think, and it's much easier for you to try and actually learn the language of another country or another culture, because the people of those cultures and those places appreciate people who learn the language, or at least try. Because, like, with relatives from Mexico and relatives that are not primarily English speaking for me, a lot of them severely appreciate when other people speak Spanish, because it makes it a lot easier for them to understand you and not have a language barrier in between. And they appreciate just people trying and having a little bit of effort in it. But yeah, it's it's something I wish people would be a little bit more lenient towards, is learning new languages. Because if a lot more people knew sign language is a universal language. It's used in a lot of countries, and even if you don't speak English, it's taught in a lot of countries as a American Sign Language. And if you go to like places like Canada or Britain, Australia, places like those, they do the Great Britain Sign Language, which is a little bit different than American Sign Language, but there's basically two main sign languages that are used in all of the world's population. And sign language is like a just a universal breakdown between those barriers. And for those that are like nonverbal or have select mutism or are deaf, sign language is severely helpful, because if you're in a situation where you can't verbally talk or there's something dangerous happening, you can literally communicate with someone with just your facial gesture and body language and hand gestures, and them get the point and get your mood through your movements and gestures and facial expressions, instead of having to talk. And for like when I go nonverbal, the sign language is a lot more helpful to use than having to write things down or type things out. Because when I write or type things out when I'm nonverbal, it literally hurts my brain. No idea why, it just does. And it's not pleasant. But people that I'm around don't exactly know sign language or speak sign language, so it's a little bit hard for other people to understand nonverbal. And what's really frustrating about being nonverbal sometimes is if I'm doing an art event and people don't exactly believe that I'm the artist of my creations if I'm nonverbal. Because people don't like to give a voice to nonverbal people who are artists, even though art is a very nonverbal form most of the time, where there aren't words spoken in a picture, where there aren't anything giving a verbal expression, but yet people can get the message even if there is no words. But yet they refuse to give precedence to nonverbal artists. It's frustrating. It's like for a lot of people that appreciate art, apparently they don't appreciate the nonverbal artists, even though they are a thing. I'm going to go take these. And then go to here, airbrush. And then go here. Actually, yeah. Go with creepy. Just gonna like erase that line art, erase that one, and then grab nope. I don't think I did that right. Perception is not something I'm great at, but I am trying. And do a little bit of what the oh, that's what it was. Okay. I have the wrong thing. Go. Like, oops. There. I know I should do like some fog up here. Probably. Is this one? Okay. Then a bit of the brown specks. However, we're gonna get a bit creepy with this one. And here we go. Okay. Oh, probably need to turn it off.
Jesse McNuggies just followed.
I'm sorry. The notification for the follow just took me by surprise. I am so sorry, Jesse. So sorry. I'm just over here like, holy shit, what was that? It was my notification for my Twitch follows. Thanks for the follow, man. I was just like, heart attack. Holy crap. I forgot that I said notification sounds for my Twitch chat. I'm like, what the fuck was that? Sorry. I'm just like, ah. There we go. Kind of touch up these areas. Make sure I get all that kind of taken care of. But, welcome to the stream. And, yeah. Just kind of chillax. And I know I normally draw like kawaii things or stickers and stuff, but decided tonight I'm just gonna do some spooky season stuff because I feel like it. But yeah. A note to self, remind self that like there are Twitch notifications. I'm just gonna like try and put in some stars up in here. But yeah, spooky season. Trying to get all this here. I just need to like give myself like a less of a heart attack here. There's that. And then let's go up here and here and grab the fog. I use clouds for fog because I can. Just need to like grab that. There we go. There we go. I need to like grab a bit of the fog in the background. Kind of behind the carousel. It's a little bit creepy. Just a little bit. Not a whole lot, you know, just a little bit creepy. I'm gonna have nightmares for the next 2 weeks. There. And I need to find... No, I'm missing an element here. Oh yeah, shading. Missing shading under the pumpkins. So let me go ahead and get that shading. Here we go. I'll like grab that. There we go. Alright, and now I need to color in this. Alright. Just a few little purple stars. Purple, yellow, and blue. Oh, like that one. And blue. And time to add a little bit of candy sticking out. It's not spooky season without the candy. Just gonna like stick a lollipop sticking out like right here. Just need a little bit more candy pieces. It's like I turned the freaking Sam Pumpkin Kid into a freaking carousel horse at this point. I'm just saying. That's spooky. Let's see here. I'm liking how this turns out though. Just gonna add a bit of candy here. And a little bit of candy sticking out here. Whoop. There. Yeah. Needs to be an orange candy. And some green on the wrappers. Alright. A few more details. Gotta have a little bit of yellow sprinkles in here. Some Halloween lo-fi and spooky ass horse. Beautiful. Boom. And maybe a bit of red. There we go. It is kind of spooky and creepy. Go ahead and grab a lighter color. Maybe underneath here. There we go. Alright, time to sign this. Probably gonna get flagged for brutality and violence and blood and gore, but you know. Bound to get flagged down somehow. There we go. There we are. Okay. I think I'll do one last thing, and that'll be a shooting star in the background. goes. We make a wish. Eh, want to do on that side? Do you want to do it on this side? Maybe a little bit. Just a little bit of meteor shower. No. But I will go ahead and add like a couple bright stars up in here. And yeah, there we go. Alright. File, save as Spooky Season Carousel. Alright, that's taken care of. Alright, it took a bit longer than I thought it would, but I am going to hop off for tonight. Everyone that did join the stream, thank you very much for joining. Those that followed, thanks for the follow. And I hope that you all have a wonderful night and sleep well. Bye, everyone.